General Hospital, GH, spoilers hint that Willow Tate, Caitlin McMullen, and Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson, could be gearing up for their next wedding disaster. Will the bride and groom's do-over go horribly wrong? GH fans know Drew hasn't given up on the idea of marrying Willow and building a real future with her. Things got off track when Willow found out about Drew and Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, sizzling encounters, which led to her calling off the wedding in the middle of the ceremony. However, Willow has latched onto Drew again as someone who can potentially help her fight the charges she's facing. Drew believes Willow is innocent, which works in her favor since he's the man she's accused of shooting. During the week of November 24th to 28th, Drew will show Willow just how much faith he has in their love and new chapter. After Drew proposes once more, Willow just might accept and agree to make a mad dash to the altar. Drew may think it's important to rush this wedding so that they can stand together as Mr. and Mrs. Drew Kane in that courtroom. Of course, there's no guarantee Willow and Drew's second marriage ceremony will end in their union. This could be another setup for things to go horribly wrong. So let's consider how Drew and Willow's big day might play out. Willow was the one to dump Drew at their first nuptials, but what if the groom rejects the bride this time around? At some point between now and the next wedding attempt, Drew might have a horrific memory flash from that night. Maybe Drew could remember something that suddenly leaves him convinced Willow is guilty after all. There might even be some other new evidence that surfaces against Willow in the end. If Drew eventually comes to believe Willow was indeed the shooter, he might move ahead with the ceremony and humiliate her the same way she humiliated him. Can you imagine Willow's face if Drew stops the wedding to call out her guilt and insist she's going down for her crime? General Hospital spoilers suggest Drew and Willow's wedding plans could lead to some curveballs, so stick with us for updates on any bad news that might be brewing. Invading Drew's space. You lived my life. And now you think you can just build a new one on top of the rubble you left behind?
You don't get to have this.
You don't get to have my family's support, my friends' loyalty, and this woman's love while I was buried alive. In this moment, Jason isn't just a returned hero. He is an avenging angel, and Drew is the imposter who stole his life. The confrontation is no longer about business. It's about identity, betrayal, and a primal fight for a place in the world. The dominoes fall, chaos erupts. The scene erupts into pure, unadulterated chaos. Carly rushes to Jason, tears streaming down her face, caught between the overwhelming joy of his return and the horror of the circumstances. Sonny moves to stand beside Jason, his old friend and bodyguard, his loyalty instantly and instinctively shifting. The look he gives Drew is one of pure betrayal. Michael is on his feet, trying to protect his mother and mediate a situation that is far beyond mediation, his own alliance with Drew now a glaring point of conflict with his father and the returned legend. Nina sees the chaos as an opportunity, pulling a horrified Willow aside and whispering, "See? I told you this family was toxic. Come with me. Let's get you out of here." Jocelyn is frozen, staring at her uncle Jason, the man she mourned for so long, who has now returned as an agent of destruction for her friend's wedding. The chapel is no longer a place of worship, but a battlefield. Voices are raised, accusations fly, and decades of tangled history explode into the open. The wedding is utterly, completely forgotten. In the center of the maelstrom stand Willow and Drew. Willow's face is pale, her bouquet trembling in her hands. Her dream day has been publicly eviscerated, first by an accusation of her fiancé's corrupt character, and then by the spectral return of his doppelganger, who has declared their entire relationship a fraud built on a stolen life. The hope in her eyes has been replaced with a devastating confusion and despair. Drew looks from Jason's furious face to Willow's shattered one. The future he envisioned has disintegrated in a matter of minutes. He is no longer a groom. He is a defendant in the court of public opinion, with the one man who can truly testify against him back from the dead. The aftermath, picking up the pieces of a shattered day. As the spoilers for the coming weeks reveal, the fallout from this wedding disaster will be more profound than any simple breakup. Willow, reeling from the trauma, will retreat, questioning everything she thought she knew about Drew and the stability of her life. Her relationship with Nina will be thrown into a new, confusing light, as her mother's warnings about the Corinthos world will suddenly seem prophetic. Drew will find himself an island, isolated and attacked from all sides. His position at Aurora will be threatened by a newly empowered Tracy and a distrustful Sonny. His friendship with Carly will be strained to its absolute limit as she is pulled back into Jason's orbit. He will be forced to confront the ghost of his own past, literally, and fight for a life that Jason now claims is his. And Jason's return, under these circumstances, will not be a joyous homecoming. It will be a destabilizing force that redraws the battle lines in Port Charles. Alliances will be tested, marriages will be strained, and the very foundation of the Corinthos and Quartermain empires will be shaken. The wedding was supposed to be a new beginning for Willow and Drew. Instead, it became the end of the world as they knew it. The dress will be packed away, the rings returned to their boxes, and the chapel will be empty once more, holding only the echo of shattered vase and the bitter promise of wars to come. In Port Charles, the happiest day of your life is often just the prelude to your worst nightmare. General Hospital, GH. Spoilers hint that Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, could end up being held captive in Professor Henry Hank Dalton's Daniel Goddard second lab. Is Anna being tested on right along with the animals? Although Jack Brennan, Chris McKenna, supposedly got a phone call about Anna being called back to the WSB for a classified mission, that was obviously a bogus story. It seems likely AI was used to recreate Anna's voice and sell the fake explanation. GH fans saw that Anna was chloroformed and kidnapped right out of her car. Soon after, Anna found herself restrained somewhere and heard a voice that was similar to Caesar Faison's, Anders Hove, saying to be at peace since she was on her way to a new life. However, Anna may have to undergo some experimental work before this new life can begin. After all, you'd think Anna would just be shipped off right away if she was ready for that. Instead, Anna was held in a facility that could easily be the second lab Dalton was talking about. Dalton drunkenly told Jocelyn Jacks, Eden McCoy, that he indeed had another lab where he did animal testing. The professor explained that the rent around there was cheap and suggested it was secluded enough so that no neighbors would hear the dogs barking. Dalton pointed out that he kept the animals sedated anyway, so we have to consider the possibility that Anna is now a human subject alongside those animals. Anna may be sedated as well and closer to home than anyone thinks. Of course, Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda, just wiped Dalton off the map, so Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thiebaud, will presumably be taking